Welcome back to demos and tutorials on Dreams with the PS4. And one of the features and one of the tools that you can use in Dreams is a spray paint tool. And I just recently had a chance to kind of work with that. And this is the first thing I did with the spray paint tool of this horse. Put it up there in the Dreamverse, and people have been very kind in their comments, and several people have asked, how did you do that? So I thought I'd do a quick tutorial and recreate this horse that I did a few days ago. So I'm going to back out of this, and we're going to go into a blank canvas that I have that I use, and we're just going to go in here. And the first thing I want to do is one thing you always need to do is to check and make sure that the tint amount is always at 0, otherwise your spray paint won't show up on the canvas. And the other thing we want to do now is we want to go in and we want to select scope mode. We want the circle. I'm going to go with a light gray color just to put in some guidelines, and we want to make sure that we are on surface snap, and then we want to go into our tool menu and get the spray paint. So this should give us now, and always defaults back to that cube, but I want the sphere. And so this is our little paint area, and there, 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 spray paint, and no, not being able to do that. There we go. What I did was I scoped in. So now this is a very thick kind of a thing brush here. Right now I want to go much smaller, and I want to just put in some very faint guidelines. We'll put in basically the neck of the back of the horse here, and again that's really kind of thick. See if I can get that even smaller there. We've got the ears, and I'm just going to really kind of rough in where they're going to go. I'm not going to worry too much about getting. We want this to go down here, and we've got the eyes, we've got the nose, we've got the, actually, that's, and the nose is going to come down here, and then we've got and the neck coming down here, and then the shoulder. And so that gives us a basic area of idea where the basic shapes are going to be, and that will give us a chance to start putting in our spray paint. So that's my guidelines for the horse's head. And now let's go ahead and let's pick a color, and I'm just going to go with a light brown right now. I tend to work from light to dark, so we'll start with a light tan, and this horse also has a white blaze, and so we're going to put that in white. So let's go ahead and put that in as the lightest color. So we're working light to dark. We probably would want to put the white in first. So let's go ahead. We'll make this a little bit larger, and working from a photograph that I have here. Actually, that is white. Looks gray, but you're right, it's white. Okay, let's go back and get my brown. As I said, this is still pretty new to me. This is only the second time I've done this now. So now let's go in, and we can go in here, and we can change the blend. We want the blend up first, and we want the opacity to come down, so we can start building up the color slowly. And we just want to leave that and make this a little bit larger. Now we can see we can put down some paint. So I'm just going to basically put down this one color, and this will be our lightest color. leave the area white that we are going to, that blaze, and that blaze is right about there. Go down, make this a little bit smaller now. Getting more into the detail, and this is going to go down to about there. The muzzle and the area around the nose and lips is a little bit different color, more of a gray color. I'm going to come back to that later. But we've got our basic round shape in here using this basic color. So now we want to go to our next shade down, which will be this shade, and you can see that we've, looking at the horse that I've got here on my desk, we're just going to go ahead and put that in there, and we're going to make that even more of a soft blend and take the opacity down a little bit, and let's get that brush bigger. There we go. And we want this down here to be darker. And this will be darker in here. Right around the eyes there. All right. We're starting to get some shading. The shading gives us the effect of some depth there, and so we just got that in there. Now let's go ahead and work on the next darker color. I'm going to go in, we'll do this, and put that. I want to define that blaze a little bit more, so I'm going to make my brush smaller, and we'll see what this, we'll put that in there, and it's going to be darker here. I'm using move controllers, if you're wondering. I find them much easier to use than the DS4 for work like this. In fact, I hardly ever use the DS4 in Dreams, except for when I'm doing any kind of typing file names. But that will give us some definition now on that blaze there. Okay, so underneath here we've got this to be darker. That'll come down like that. Okay, all right. So now let's go ahead and go to our next darker. And now we're really going to start to see some of these shapes kind of pop out. I'm going to take this down smaller, and actually I think I'm going to do that even much darker than that. Let's go ahead and leave that alone. Let's go ahead and put in some dark here. You can get some really good detail using a very small brush and with zooming in. I'm going to go ahead and put in a little bit of the mane. I'm going to go, again, a dark color, and I'm going to make this brush a little bit bigger, and we're just going to go ahead and put this mane in here on the back. And I don't like the fact that that's so fuzzy, so let's go in here. Let's turn the blend down, and let's turn the opacity up a little bit. Okay, now I'll go over here, and we'll just bring this down along the neck. let's go ahead and work on that eye. I'm going to go ahead and go even darker now. This will be our darkest brown. And I want to put that in right about there. I'm going to make this brush even smaller and put that in right about there. Okay. Okay, so we got an eye there. Now, that's one of the darkest areas. While we have this dark, let's go up to the ears, and let's do this ear first. That goes about like that. Okay, and this ear over here goes kind of like that. Okay. All right. And I think that's all we need in terms of the real dark until we get to the equipment that goes on there. So let's go back now to the medium brown, make that a little bit larger, and let's finish off this ear. It takes a little bit more of that color, and this will take some of this color. Okay, after this brown. Okay. And let's go over to here, and this is a little bit, let's take that down a little bit. Let's go to this color, and let's go with a little more blend, a little less opacity. Now, it's just fine tuning. You know, there's really no real way to know. Just kind of play it by ear. We want more blend on that, I think. We'll take the blend all the way, pretty much all the way up. Okay. I'm going to give that eye a little more definition. We got this up here. Let's go ahead now and let's go ahead now and work on that nose. As I said, that it was kind of a light gray color in my piece that I'm working from, so let's go ahead and make that, that's fairly large. And let's go in there and just put a little bit of gray. It's darker than I want it to be. Actually, we already have white. That's as light as it can be. Let's go ahead and let's turn down the opacity. That's what we can do there. We got the blend. Okay, now let's go ahead and put that in there. Okay, make that a little bit larger. Okay, so we're getting that in there. All right, back to the dark colors. Let's go with the darkest dark, and we'll put in the, and we want that to be a little bit more. You see how this is the combination of the blend and the brush size can give you varying looks and really can make things look very, very realistic. Take the time. I'm working pretty quickly here. Let's take this down to a smaller size, and we're just going to go ahead now, and we're just going to put in a little bit of you want to see where that mouth is. There we go. Okay, so I don't like that. Okay, wish I had something between those two colors. Let's go back up here in this gray here. You'll also notice that when you put the picture one way or another, you get it distorted. So you need to work on, even though you're zooming in and out, you need to make sure the picture is fairly straight on or you're going to get distortion. And it's going to be difficult to work. All right, let's just go ahead now and put in some the dark. Again, working quickly here for this demo purposes, but we'll go with I guess we'll see how dark the darkest brown is. I want something really, really dark. But we're going to go ahead now and put in the bridle and bit and so on. So, but first I want to make sure I've got the areas that I want dark there, and we want this to be dark. So that's looking pretty good. That's looking pretty good. That's one thing I want to touch up here real quick. Go to the white. That's white. And I want to go in here and I just want to take this down a little bit. It doesn't need to be that. Doing some erasing, I guess you could say. Now I'm going to go back into that next lightest gray, and I'm going to go ahead and now put in that, and that'll give us what we need there. All right, now I think that's pretty good for a quick job here, and so let's go ahead and again, we're going to go now to that darkest brown and see if that's going to be dark enough. We want to go ahead and put in, so we want to make our thing a bit bigger so that we can get the full, that's about right, I think. And we are at the dark brown, and so let's see here, according to my little cheat sheet here, this is going to go up. We don't want that. We want no blend, and we want opacity up. We want this to be as sharp as we can get it. So maybe that's just a tad too large. Let's take it down a little bit. Okay, now this is going to go across the forehead. And then the bridle goes around the ears and comes down. Oh, nope, doesn't do that. Okay, comes down to here. Then it goes from there, pretty much in a straight line, down to about there. So you want to this and there. Now we have one going over the front of the horse's thing there, so bring that across and down. Alright, and we've got another. Let's make this a little bit smaller. We've got another one that comes down across here. I don't know why, I'm not a horse person, but there's another one that comes down here. And then we've got, let's zoom in here. We go down to the gray. This could be a fairly dark gray. Yeah, this is probably good enough. And make this smaller, and we're going to put in some little rings that they, with a bit and bridle. Yeah, close enough. All right, so now we've got a bit going in there. Let's go back to that. Let's just go ahead and select that dark one here. We got a bit going into there. Okay, and then we just have a couple of straps coming down from the bit. Make that a little bit larger, and we've got apparently something coming down here, and we've got something coming down here, and as far as I know, I think that is about it. So we can go in and do some more work on it. There's more things I could do. I don't really care for the ears all that much. I would probably go back in and probably work on those ears a bit more. You know, for all intents and purposes, I think that looks pretty good. One last thing is going a little more definition in the neck. I'm going to go just do that real quick. We've got the brown, and we want to put the blend almost all the way up, opacity about halfway, and our brush size needs to be much bigger than that. Let's make it like that, and we'll just kind of bring in some more. Oops, that's a little bit dark. Let's make that go a little bit more opaque down to about there. Make that brush go all the way up. And just looking at the photograph I have, there's some more definition here. And okay. All right, well, there we have it. I think we finished the demo of the using spray paint to create a painting, and this is a simple one of a horse, done, as you can see, fairly quickly. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I plan on doing some more. This is a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing this as an artist. It's like working in watercolor, and so I'll be doing more of these. But in the meantime, enjoy, and as I like to say, keep on dreaming.